International Media TV. Television that listens to you.
Hi, I'm Johnnie Burrell. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, everyone. What a great group to celebrate with us today. I'm so excited you're all here. My name is Debbie Raffel, and I'm the director of San Francisco's Department of the Environment. And I'm tremendously honored today to be joined by some pretty amazing people from the city family, inside and out. First, of course, the phenomenal Mayor London Breed. Next to her, we have Michael Brune, the executive director of the Sierra Club. Then we have Mohammed Nuru, the director of Public Works. Harlan Kelly, the director of the Public Utilities Commission. Ed Reskin, the director of MTA. And somewhere is Naomi Kelly, our city administrator. Oh, somewhere. She's right here. Thank you. All right, so today is about preparation and about anticipation for truly a once-in-a-lifetime moment in our city. Because next week, San Francisco will be the global climate capital of the world. Leaders from around the world will be coming here for Jerry Brown's Global Climate Action Summit. And the key word is action. So the Paris Climate Accords foresaw the need to take action. They foresaw the need to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, to prevent global temperatures from rising and wreaking havoc on our climate and life as we know it. But the reality is, the effects of climate change are already here in California. Rising sea levels and floods, intense and prolonged drought, record high temperatures, raging wildfires. We've seen it all here in California already. So a clear goal was set in Paris, but the how do we get to that goal, was not spelled out. And further, Paris' focus was on national governments. And that's what makes the climate summit here in San Francisco so very, very important, because the summit will bring together states, regions, cities, businesses, faith-based communities, scientists, educators. They're all coming to San Francisco for one reason, and that is to be very explicit about their bold commitments to taking action. Because it's those commitments, those statements of intent, that will catalyze action and make our collective ambition stronger for the path forward. Because we know, and certainly everyone here today knows, when cities and states lead on climate, nations soon follow. So I want to thank and acknowledge Mayor Breed today for her leadership leading up to the summit, and also for her long and deep commitment to the city's environmental goals. Even from her early days on the Board of Supervisors, and when she was board president, she never wavered from her commitment to do the right thing for the environment. She was instrumental in seeing the city's Clean Power SF program launch. And I watched her stand up to the packaging industry and the pharmaceutical industry to reduce pollution and protect our bay. She authored and championed the nation's strictest ban on styrofoam, and then she went after the pharmaceutical manufacturers and held them accountable for the tons of unused medications that we generate in our homes each year. As mayor, I know she will continue to forge a bold path forward around climate action and environmental protection for our city. So with that, please join me in welcoming Mayor London Breed.
Thank you. I am so really excited to be here today. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Next week, San Francisco will be getting a lot of attention for the right reasons, for something that we need to start focusing on action for now, and that is dealing with the fact that climate change is real. We are struggling in, this country now, sadly, because we have a president who basically doesn't believe that that's the case, that doesn't believe we should be focusing on pushing forward innovative solutions and new ideas for the purposes of making sure that we are leaving this planet for the next generation better than what we found it. Dealing with the problems of today are definitely important, but what about the future? What about what happens when, we are in a situation where we're not making the right decisions today? Fortunately, San Francisco has always been a global leader in environmental issues, and we have championed zero waste policies, advanced clean energy initiatives, pushed for public transportation to cut back our emissions, and are home to some of the most sustainable buildings and structures in the world. And we are providing that you can be a sustainable city while still maintaining and growing your economy. San Francisco has reduced its greenhouse gas emissions by 30% since 1990, while at the same time, we've grown an astonishing 111%. That is why Governor Jerry Brown has chosen San Francisco as the city to host this most important summit. We here in San Francisco acknowledge that climate change is real. It poses a very serious threat, and we need to act yesterday. That is why today I'm committing San Francisco to 4 key policy pledges that will continue our significant progress and raise standards for cities all over the world, because we can't do this alone. These bold new targets will accelerate emissions reduction by reducing waste, making our buildings greener, promoting green investments, and achieving our renewable energy goals. In making these commitments, I am calling on mayors throughout the country, many of whom have already joined us, to make new actionable commitments to reduce global greenhouse gas emissions. First, let's talk about trash. Let's talk about how San Francisco is proud to be in the zero waste goal policy. That means putting less and less and less items in not just the black bins, but also the green and the blue bins. And I got to tell you, I have been working so hard to reduce the waste in my black bin that it's almost non-existent. And it can be done. A few things here and there, but it can be done. Thanks to our Department of Environment and Ecology, we've already recovered more recyclable and combustibles than any other city in the United States. But the only way to cut back on waste is to avoid creating it in the first place. So many of the products we use today generate an incredible amounts of waste in mining and growing and manufacturing and transportation needed to make those products. So by 2030, I'm committing San Francisco will reduce waste generated by 15% and reduce the waste we send to landfill by 50%. This will reduce harmful methane emissions that come from landfills, and other cities could join us and help reduce the risk globally by over 10% if we all work together. Another big contributor to greenhouse gas emissions is our buildings. It's no secret that I'm committed to building more housing in our city. We also are seeing a boom in commercial construction all over San Francisco, and we need to ensure that these buildings live up to the highest standards when it comes to clean energy. And this is why, starting in 2030, I'm committing that all new construction in San Francisco will be off fossil fuels and running on 100% renewable energy. Our residents deserve to live and work in spaces that are healthy, resource efficient, and resilient. The third goal is renewable energy. I am glad to be joined today by Michael Brun, who is the Executive Director of the Sierra Club. The Sierra Club, as we know, is a national champion for renewable energy here in California and throughout our country, and I'm proud to officially sign on to the Sierra Club's Mayors for Clean Energy initiative. I'm joining more than 200 mayors across the nation committed to achieving 100% renewable energy. And part of that includes expanding our Clean Power SF program, a program that already over 100,000 residents of San Francisco are enrolled in. I worked really hard as president of the Board of Supervisors so that we could have this as a real sustainable option here in the city, and I won't back down to protecting it when we have to deal with some of the challenges that some of you know we are facing now to address it. As an example of that commitment, today we are starting construction on the city's newest and largest array of rooftop solar panels right here in Moscone Center. So that's why we're here today. And thank you to the San Francisco Public Works and the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission for collaborating with us on this project. And so we're going to be featuring these panels that basically will make this a more sustainable building. And the last commitment that I want to talk about is green bonds. We need to encourage our financial sector to invest in our sustainable infrastructure. Certified green bonds are issued to finance projects that improve our overall climate resilience. For example, fortifying our waterfront from rising sea levels or more efficiently managing our stormwater. These green bonds are helping us save money while attracting more investors. Thanks to the Public Utilities Commission and our controller, Ben Rosenfield, San Francisco is the second leading municipal city in the nation in issuing green bonds. And so today I'm committing that we will issue even more of these bonds and continue to make more of the necessary investments for the future livelihood of the prosperity of our city. Next week, San Francisco will be at the epicenter of a summit where cities from around the world will advocate for a sustainable future. We are at the forefront of a global climate action movement, and we will continue to push for strong environmental protections in this city, no matter what happens in the White House. So join us in making a commitment to the city and to our planet. There will be hundreds of events throughout San Francisco that you all can participate in. And in fact, on September 13th, it will be officially Green Thursday in the city and county of San Francisco with free Ford Go bikes for the public to use and free programs in the evenings at the museums and places here in Moscone. All of us can play a key role in keeping our country and our world clean and green, and this is a perfect opportunity for San Francisco to come together and really show the world what we've done throughout the years and what we're capable of doing and how we will continue to lead the way in environmental efforts. We are ready, we are excited, and I can't wait until this summit descends on San Francisco. We'll be seeing people biking all over the city, riding Muni, spending more time in our parks and green spaces, and looking for ways that we can really take the kind of action we need all over the world to address what we know are significant issues. Let's deal with the challenges that exist in our cities and in our world today, but let's never forget we have to leave this planet a better place than we found it, and that's going to take a lot of work from each and every one of us. Thank you all so much for being here today.
Oh, fabulous. I'm energized, I'm ready, and I hope you are as well. San Francisco's leadership is not a new or recent development. In fact, over a century ago, the Sierra Club was founded right here in our city. Today, they remain one of the nation's most active and influential environmental advocacy organizations, and I'm honored and pleased, and I hope you will help me join in welcoming Michael Brune, the Executive Director of the Sierra Club.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Mayor Breed. Hi, everybody. I'm Michael Brune, Executive Director of the Sierra Club, as you just heard. Now, most people, when they think of fighting climate change, they see it as something that we've simply got to do. Something that we've got to do. They see raging wildfires. They see extreme weather events happening here in California and across the country. They see the droughts. They see extreme and severe, life-threatening water shortages affecting millions of people around the world, endangered species around the world. They see the political unrest that comes from that. They see the tragic loss of life or of property. They see this and they feel an obligation. Here in California, we see the same obligation. We make a pledge to take action. But we see a lot more. We see fighting climate change not just as something that we've got to do. We see fighting climate change as something that we get to do. We see fighting climate change not just as an obligation, but as an opportunity. We see fighting climate change as an opportunity to cut the air pollution that makes our families sick. We see fighting climate change as an opportunity to cut the water pollution that turns pure drinking water into a health hazard. We see fighting climate change as an opportunity to increase the amount of jobs that are offered in this economy, as an opportunity to cut costs. We see fighting climate change as an opportunity to address income inequality, to address racial disparities, to take a hard look at what kind of society do we want to become and exactly how do we get there. This is what it's like. This is what it means to be living here in the Bay Area, to be working and living here in San Francisco. San Francisco was one of the first cities to make a commitment to 100% clean energy. But I'm really proud and excited to be here with Mayor Breed and other leaders from the city to talk about how do we accelerate that commitment? How do we turn words and ideas and principles and values into action? How do we use one set of solutions to solve multiple problems? What we know here in San Francisco is that we can look at how do we take tangible steps to move away from all fossil fuels? How do we think about power plants and pipelines and buildings and buses and use a transformation to move away from fossil fuels towards clean energy and cut the pollution that's making us sick and create the jobs that we all need? I'm excited to be here right now on the eve of a Global Climate Action Summit to be helping to announce and to celebrate a series of thoughtful, progressive, ambitious, and even daring actions that we desperately need here in the city, across the state, and across the country, not just to increase the amount of prosperity that we all need here in the city, but to show leaders all around the world that we can do this. We can make dramatic progress in a short period of time, and all it takes is leadership, is confidence, a belief that we can solve some of our biggest problems, and the commitment to work through political challenges, to overcome cynicism, to overcome despair, and bus by bus, building by building, street by street, and eventually city by city and state by state, we will have the clean energy future that we deserve. I wanted to end by just celebrating Mayor Breed, relatively new in office, she felt comfortable enough to come up here and talk trash to all of you. She has agreed not just to help host the Global Climate Action Summit, not just showcase and highlight the steps that we're taking here in this city, but she's also agreed to join mayors across the country and indeed around the world to promote the steps that the city is taking and to convene leaders from all across the country to help them move to 100% at the same time. That takes courage. Mayor Breed is joining Jackie Biskupski, the mayor of Salt Lake City in Utah. She's joining Kevin Faulconer, the mayor of San Diego. She's joining Steve Benjamin, the great mayor in Columbia, South Carolina. She's joining 200 other mayors, but she's co-chairing an effort to inspire other cities and other companies and other school districts and other states and other countries to go all the way to 100% clean energy. When we stand here in 2 years, when we stand here in 10 years, we won't just be talking about what we need to do. We're going to be talking about what we've done, how we all came together, how we worked together to transcend political divides, to transcend a spirit that we really can't solve our problems. And we're going to be providing a record of what this generation has done, facing the biggest existential threat our society faces, and we're going to say, we did it. We won. We succeeded. So thank you all for being here, and thank you, Mayor Breed, in particular, for your leadership.
Thank you, Michael Brune. Yes, it takes leadership and courage. And I would say that I'm joined up here, the mayor and I are joined up here with people of great leadership and courage. San Francisco is lucky to have its own clean energy utility. We are lucky to have the cleanest municipal fleet in the country. When you look at our emissions, half of them come from the buildings, half of them come from transportation. So when I look up here at Ed Reskin, Harlan Kelly, and Mohammed Nuru, I am incredibly grateful to have partners in them who are going to make sure that our built environment and our transportation systems are fossil-free. It takes a huge amount of leadership and courage, and let's give them a hand for theirs. And I also want to say, if you haven't signed up for Clean Power SF yet, I don't think Harlan will let you leave today before you do. So make sure you ask him. And it's not enough to just sign up. It's super green. Thank you. Yes, super green, 100% renewable. Easy to do, and renters can do it too. So we've got a couple other people I want to call out because they are near and dear to leadership and courage in our city, and that are the 3 members of our Commission on the Environment who are here today. We have Commissioner Lisa Hoyos, the President of our Commission, Elmi Bermejo, and Commissioner Eddie Yan. Will you just please stand and be recognized? So finally, we have in San Francisco some of the most energy and resource buildings in the world. And the Moscone expansion, where we are standing today and what we're listening to in the background, is a great example of green building standards in practice. So how fitting is it that the world will be coming to talk about climate here in Moscone next week? And I want to thank Mohammed Nuru and Edgar Lopez and their entire team for their partnership and their leadership in designing, planning, constructing some of San Francisco's greenest buildings, and for their commitment to achieving the city's climate goals. So please join me in welcoming Mohammed Nuru, the Director of Public Works.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Mayor Breed. We're here today at Moscone Center for a reason. This convention facility showcases San Francisco's commitment to environmental stewardship in building design. The Moscone expansion project is scheduled for completion of December of this year and is aiming for LEED Platinum certification. It would be the highest LEED certified convention center in the nation. We are adding 792 solar panels to the rooftop of this building. Once complete, Moscone Center will house the largest conventional rooftop solar array in San Francisco, producing 969 megawatts of electricity a year. When up and running, the solar will generate up to 20% of the building this energy needs. The remainder will be powered by HECI power system, ensuring that all the conventions and trade shows that are hosted here, such as the Global Climate Summit, are powered by clean electricity.
Currently, what you're looking at is what we refer to as the Phase 3 of the Moscone expansion project. On this rooftop, there will be 792 brand new solar panels, what we refer to as the sun power solar panels that are highly efficient, that will generate about 374 kW. We have about 1,500 solar panels on the Esplanade building that generates about 314 for a total of 686 kW generation, which is about 20% of the building's energy needs. Another way to look at it is it will generate 969 megawatt hours of energy throughout the year.
In addition, the convention center was designed for efficiency, from harvesting daylight to capturing more than 12 million gallons of rainwater, foundation groundwater, and condensation water annually that would otherwise be going into our wastewater system. The reclaimed water will be used to irrigate the landscape around this facility. It will be used for the toilets, and will be used also by Public Works for helping clean the surrounding streets. Isn't that a great use and reuse of water? I mean, this is a great example. So Moscone Center is just one of San Francisco's environmental initiatives. From demanding smart building design to strategically reducing energy use and emissions, cities and states can be leaders in the battle against global warming. So today I want to thank you all for coming to this beautiful facility, and this will conclude the press speaking part of it, and we have tours right after this to take people upstairs to see some of the solar panels and some of the new designs that have been put into this beautiful convention facility. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.